Ever since the Roadhog nerfs, the character just hasn't been very good. Not seeing play compared to many of the other top options in the game, and in the top 500, you almost don't find a Roadhog anywhere outside of one man simply dominating the ladder with this untraditional pick in IMMUSHROOM, currently sitting at top 50 on the ladder for tank, and he made it all the way up to top 10 using almost 100% Roadhog. So we're going to break down his gameplay and show you exactly what he does to make Roadhog work and actually dominate the ladder with a very untraditional pick. But do me a huge solid and smash the like, subscribe if you enjoyed the content. Mushrooms links will all be in the description down below, and check me out on stream live right now down below as well, and let's jump into it. So the first playstyle fundamental I want to talk about is this fishing style of Roadhog, where he turns and jumps around corners looking to hook right away. And the reason that he does that is as you get against better and better opponents, they're not going to give you that opportunity in order to actually just hit them when you see them. You almost have to catch them by either tricking them by putting pressure on one side and pushing to the other, or throwing in a surprise hook out of nowhere. And even this one that was instant, the enemy team reacted to it just as quickly, and a lot of players are going to be able to do that, but that's what he's kind of fishing for. Now this next strategy though is going to kind of show that tip combined with another tip where he first applies pressure to one side of the point and then he goes for the other side trying to get a cheeky kill after the enemy rotates. So as an example, he walks up here to the right and the enemies are starting to back up here. They hear the Roadhog here. All these enemies are aware that the Roadhog's coming from this side. They're like a little bit scared. They're like, oh, the Roadhog's coming here. We're going to start backing up towards this direction. And he's applying a little bit of pressure just with his presence. Now, as his hook comes back, I want you to notice how he takes a shot on the right, wraps all the way to the left, and as the enemy team are escaping, he wraps really wide to get that hook. Incredibly wide to get that hook. And look at his crosshair as he does it. So the enemy team are wrapping to the left. They're afraid of that right side. Now he goes all the way to the left side and catches this Kiriko way out of position. Notice how he completely whips her around by whipping under, whips her around and headshots her and puts her in front of his entire team as well, which is just insane. Like, this kill is a complete hard carry. Let's watch this engagement again. Right side bait, goes to the left side, goes and hooks this person, whips them into his team, and gets that first pick off. Really, really great, and it's important to understand that when he walked to that right side, it wasn't for no reason. It was applying pressure, and sometimes on Hog, you're not going to be able to find that opportunity on the left, so then you go to the left a little bit, you wrap back to the right, you wrap back to the left. You're just constantly applying pressure on different sides of the point, and then eventually there will be an opportunity that presents itself as enemies are rotating back and forth, because as your Hog going to this side, the enemy are kind of following you to an extent, but sometimes there'll be an enemy that gets left behind, like that Kiriko, that he got to wrap all the way here, catch the Kiriko, and whip it to his team. Amazing play, and it really opens up this fight, got that pick. Now he's just going to stand on point really wide, not necessarily fighting the Sigma, just applying pressure to this Junkrat that's ISO on point, just with his convergence fire. And now he basically just hooks in the Sigma. They're low on resources, so he's just going to kind of close this fight out a little bit, trying to apply more pressure. Basically, the kill on the Kiriko was what carried this entire fight. And that's the important thing I want to talk about. The setup and the way that he executed it was absolutely insane here. The next thing I want to showcase is lane control. Notice how he plays in and around this cover and throws the hook down lanes. And specifically for that Ana kill right there, what he actually did prematurely is not only is he hugging the cover and like throwing the hook along the left side cover, he's going to do a little bit of damage with his convergence fire first before he tries to hook, because, you know, getting that one shot off is a lot more difficult. You need to do that preliminary damage. His teammate also did a little bit of damage to the Ana, so it was easier, but you're going to do the convergence fire, hook, walk forward, and try to close that gap before you get that shot off. He gets the one tap on the Ana. Now, he's not going to greed the res here. He's not really in a position to with the Diva in his face, but I want you to showcase this lane again. He's peeking back and forth inside this building, and now he catches this Junkrat in the lane, and he gets a free kill on this Junkrat that is kind of digging in and out of cover as well. So you get to play through and around these lanes on Hog, where there's these long stretched lanes, like areas around cover. So like when opponents are playing properly, when players are playing properly, they're going to be playing around a ton of these covers. You know, they're going to be putting themselves in and around buildings. Junkrats are. They're going to be playing a long natural cover, and a Hog wants to always be playing around those same things, and then being able to throw hooks along these lanes is really how you're going to be able to get some pretty simple hooks, because they're not going to be staying out in the open. They don't have infinite options about where they can go. So as we push into this last fight, I really want to showcase basically just what Hog is actually pretty good at. I think his Whole Hog is incredibly underestimated, especially when you're trying to cap the third point. Because you can just see, like, we have a Sigma coming in, and because of the rush plus the Whole Hog, he gets to basically just CC everyone off this point. Doesn't even have to take a real fight with them. The CC aspect of Whole Hog, I think, is really, really strong. And Mushroom uses it a lot to, like, cap key objectives. Especially we saw in, like, the second point. Oftentimes, he'll push the cart really, really close, like push under, not necessarily vie for high ground, because the more pressure enemies are on to like contest the cart, the more value you can get at a Whole Hog for CC as well. So now we're on defense, and we're going to watch how Mushroom actually plays this defense side. So first off, this is a pretty cheeky angle that you can actually hook someone off that high ground, which is pretty cool. But I actually want to showcase basically how he plays against the Sigma, because he's playing against Sigma Ana. While he does have a Kiriko, Sigma Ana Zen, it's a lot that can really threaten him. So right here, he's being kind of cheeky, getting some convergence fire over that. I want you to see this displacement hook he throws out right here again that just baits out a ton of cooldown. So he's applying shield break pressure. Now he's whipping the Sigma to the other side. It's going to force the Sigma to use his grasp. So that's a crazy amount of resources that he baited out just with that hook. Now he's wrapping around this side, and see, this is once again the style that we talked about, right? If we go back to here, like, note how he plays this side, applies pressure, wraps to the other side, wraps to this side, wraps to the other side. The idea here is that the enemy doesn't really know where he's gonna come from, right? They know that he's here, but the enemy don't all want to just play the same side. And if the entire enemy are stacked on this side, he could literally go around here and try to get a hook off from this angle. Like if this Junkrat is just playing here with his team. But what he does is by applying pressure on this side, as he's kind of waiting, buying time, getting healed, getting his cooldown back, he's repositioning for this side, looking for an opportunity. And if we see it from the top-down point of view, you just get to see how he's wrapping to the other side as he's prepping, and then he goes and peeks this angle, gets a kill, basically as a Junkrat hugging the wall, another lane. So going back and forth, back and forth. That's kind of what he does on Roadhog, and it's how he forces through these hooks, because every single time he's moving, the enemies are repositioning, and then he's trying to catch people off during the rotation. The exact same concept that we talked about on the first thing. It's really, really smart Roadhog play. You're not trying to force anything through. You're playing around your cooldowns. You're waiting for that opportunity, and you're basically being very mobile with your positioning here. So, yeah, anyways, let's go back to his point of view. Okay, so note here, this fight goes awry. You know, a target gets slept. He doesn't kill anybody, and he basically has to back out of this point. He gets slept, and he does get Suzu'd, so he gets to escape. So he's going to get Suzu'd. He's going to breathe. He's going to get out of here. And I want you to notice this right here, where he gets a kill on Sugar Free. So the thing right there, this is really important, because oftentimes Hog can turn the tables on a target when they think he's vulnerable. So, like, basically, a Hog can be ready at any moment to basically pivot off of his cooldowns to try to get a kill out of nowhere. And even some of the best players will fall victim to that. So really, really smart play. And now he kind of gets to stabilize. Doesn't really look like he's going to be able to contest, but at the very least, they get to hold close and fight close. Here, what he's doing is he's trying to navigate to the high ground. He doesn't really want to allow their supports or their team to set up on the high ground for free. So he's going to go up high. He's going to play this high angle, and he's going to try to once again displace this Sigma and basically just bait out a ton of cooldowns that way every time he displaces him. So, yeah, that's primarily what he's going to do. He's going to once again get on top of this, look for kind of a cheeky hook here. Nice kill, nice hook on the Ana. Now, I will say that high ground hooks with the new Roadhog is going to be a pretty tricky to get one-shots off. If there's a lot of preliminary damage, it can be possible, but it still baits out a ton of cooldowns, even if they don't result in kills. Okay, the next thing that we need to talk about with Roadhog is something that IMMUSHROOM does so well. We've already talked about his displacement hooks and his whip hooks, where he whips down and out. And this just incredibly amplifies Roadhog's potential carry on any, like, holes or gaps, which is one right here. There's a huge gap right here. And there's a lot of maps with giant, like, holes and CC places where you can push people off the map. And using New Hog, because of the distance, you can whip it and it can actually be more consistent. So, like, watch how he basically does, like, this ridiculous hook on the enemy Sigma. Just completely disgusting. That gets him a free fight win here. So watch, he walks forward, and yeah, this is just ridiculous. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, the fight is already over, but Jesus, Once again, we're back on attack. Both teams have capped, and I want you to notice that he's still doing those little jump hooks, right? He jumps an angle and hooks it. He did the same thing we talked about before. They don't always connect, but against enemies that are not moving around enough, holding angles too long, like he will just do these kind of plays all the time, where he'll jump and hook. And sometimes they'll connect, and he'll just win a fight outright. It only takes one mistake by the enemy to just carry a fight, and he did that before. But also, I want you to notice he's once again applying pressure on one side, going to the other side. He just keeps doing this. It's like a rocking ship, back and forth. Applying pressure on this side, and he's most likely going to wrap right to the next side, right? He's going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That's just what he's doing. He's doing this over and over again to try to find this hook, and that's where he finds it. The same strategy that we saw him use on the last time. Back and forth, back and forth. And yes, you have to hit these pretty hard to hit hooks, but keep in mind that when opponents are thinking, oh, the hog's coming left, 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 oh, no, right, 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 left, 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 right, 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 left, 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 oh, we got fucking hooked on the right side. You said he was coming left. You see what I'm saying? That is the power of what Mushroom forces through, and this is something that you could implement on Hog if you want to force through a hook, if you want to actually get an impactful pick. It's not just brute forcing your way through to get a hook. It's trying to apply and shift the amount of pressure that the enemy team is responding to your pressure with so that you can catch an enemy off guard. Really, really great stuff. He gets that opening kill. Once again, carries this fight pretty much. I mean, getting a kill on... Oh, and another one on the Zen. Ridiculous crosshair placement on these hooks. Just really hugging this high ground perfectly. And yeah, I mean, he carried both attack on the first time they took it, and he's carrying attack here. And I kind of want to note Roadhog's strengths are seemingly a bit higher on attack than defense, because it's like one mistake, one person out of position, one opportunity, and you could win a whole point. But enemies get so many more attempts on defense when they're pushing, when they're on attack and you're on defense, that you would have to try to make and force through a play every single fight, and it'd be pretty hard. But anyways, we're going to this last engagement, and we're once again referencing the fact that Roadhog has his Whole Hog, which is just phenomenal CC, and he's about to have that same combo again, the Whole Hog plus the Kitsune Rush, which is just like one of the best combos you can have to just C9 the point, basically, to force people off. And so he's kind of playing here. They're playing for the combo. They're not rushing anything. He's not rushing to try to kill anybody. They're just going to hold their ground here. They're going to fight and vie, get these ultimates, and then they're going to ult in. So they just rush in here. He's going to get a hook here, a displacement hook, pushes through, and manages to kill the Zen, uses his breather to get Whole Hog. Whole Hogs the rest of the team off the point, and that's it. That's it. So a lot of the same fundamentals that we talked about, but that boat rocking, the jump hooks, the discipline, the pressure, a lot of this kind of adds up to allow him to play Roadhog in a very untraditional way up against some characters like Sigma, like Diva, where many people are like, you wouldn't want to play a Hog into those characters, but he does. And even like Ana and Zen and all these characters. So yeah, this is one video breaking down some of the insights into the best Hog on ladder right now. But if you have any suggestions for the next person that we should break down, the next hero we should break down, definitely let me know down below. Thank you for coming by. Smash the like and subscribe. Check out Mushroom in the links down below, and I'll see you next time.